Okay, and whoa, not quite what I was looking for. All right, morning. We're back. So I I think we're live. So oh, so yeah, I think we're live, and I'm just going to talk to you guys for a minute and assume that y'all can hear me. I see Uncle Steve, Fish and Golf. Thanks for joining us this morning. Cameron and uh, the band hammer himself, Steve Rodemeyer, with us this morning. Y'all, it has been an adventure. It has been a bit of an adventure. So this morning, I've got the studio at basically kind of bare minimum setup. When I say bare minimum, I've got enough of the equipment up and running to go live, have the editing portion of the studio ready to rock and roll. But like, I had to grab a couple of spare two befores and build a tripod for the camera this morning because I could not find one. Um, but and you'll have to forgive me. One of the kids brought me home a good old bug. I've been hacking up milky green phlegm all morning, but everything is working out great. We are out in the country. Yesterday morning, we started off at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and Penelope, my 11-year-old, here I'll flip this over here so you can see that better. So like there's the sound kit. Obviously, I haven't set up any studio lighting. Um, haven't got the studio lighting set up yet. There's the sound kit. I still have to find some cables to get that working. So I'm talking to you from my headphones. But this is the old desk from the old house that Penny and I tore down and put back together yesterday. That was quite an adventure. But this thing is rock solid, and I don't think it's ever going to move again. So this here, I'll step outside with you and show you kind of. Yeah, that's the new studio in the temporary. I've got this little shed in the yard that's a 10 by 10. It's serviceable. It'll get the job done for now. And Cameron asked, bare minimum enough for a woman to choose it over a man in the woods. God, I hope so. But let's be real. I am now a man in the woods. Uh, yeah, I didn't share that bit. So I don't have to give up location data to say that's all mine as far as you can see that way. You you run out of eyeball before you run out of land to walk on. And we put our new Blackstone together yesterday. It, as you can see, there's still just boxes of cables and shit here that are still need to be run and pulled and installed to get everything running. But guys, um, Steve says the headphone mic is solid, but not much range. Yeah, fair enough. So I won't be walking out of the studio with this frequently. If I'm later, I want to get us to where I've got a Wi-Fi extender where we can walk out toward the back of the property. Um, but a lot of the video, we're going to be producing video from the back of the property once we develop it more, because I'm going to build a rifle range back there and uh, some other stuff like that. So it's a lot of that's going to be produced. We're going to go out and set up several cameras and actually do edited film from there. And I'm going to go ahead and shut this one down. We don't need this back. We don't need this secondary camera anymore. So I can just kick him out, or rather kick me out. So that's kind of where we're at. So the show will be starting up normally. Tomorrow we'll do Firearms Friday. And for those of you who know us, if you get a chance, send my little man a happy birthday. He's 9 today. But yeah, we should be basically rocking and rolling. I've only got 2 monitors set up, which is a little weird. It changes where things open. But so let's do something fun. Fun might be tricky. I might have to experiment a little bit here. Replacing this with, nope, that's not the one. That doesn't get it done. Excuse me. That's not what I'm looking for either. Son of a bitch. Maybe. Aha. We'll go with this one. Boom. Okay. There we go. Ooh, that backdrop's ugly. Let's not there. That's better. Okay. Hey, Tim joins us this morning. Good morning. Hey, Tim, congratulations on your new house, brother. We gotta do like a student exchange thing and check out each other's new properties. Of course, I think you're about 4 hours away. It'd be kind of like taking the weekend to go to Savannah. Uh, except not anymore. I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump from the candy store and the beignets and mimosas for brunch. Anyway, I wanted to share this one with you guys. Uh, let's start by watching the video. And actually, let me double check. I don't think you'll get sound this way. I gotta do it differently so you get sound. Also share tab audio. Okay, there we go. This is hilarious.
Sera, Presidente Biden. Oh, Presidente Biden. President, Mr. President. It's okay?
Are you okay, President?
It's okay.
Ok, tutto a posto. Welcome, benvenuto. No, di nuovo. Mamma mia.
So this is an Italian comedy sketch show making fun of
President, Mr. President,
Oh.
ecco.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Ok, it's okay.
yeah, very good.
Si sente bene,
Yeah.
sì. Sì.
Thank you.
Thank you, mamma mia.
Thank you very
Ecco.
much. Feel good.
You are welcome, buonasera. Dove va? Mr. President, oh mamma.
Late.
No, non arriva la metropolitana perché non è la metro, it's not the subway, non è la metropolitana qui, no.
What's your name?
Con chi parla? Mr. President.
My name is Joe Kennedy.
No, Biden, lei è Biden, è Biden, ma con chi parla? Certo, prego.
So I don't know about y'all, but I thought that was hilarious. I don't know how much longer the skit goes on after. I mean, there's another like 16 seconds of the skit clipped here, but this is what I wanted to talk about here. Is the woman that posted it? She says an Italian TV show aired this skit making fun of and she even goes so far as to caveat making fun of our popular president, Joe Biden. I'm fuming. This is not funny. And honestly, my first take when I saw that was, okay, she's being facetious. And then I saw this. This is her profile. Oh my God. TheWokeObserver.substack.com, author of How the Trump Years Turned Me into a Social Justice Warrior, Into Vegan and Ecosexual, Z-Zer. Okay, here's what you have here. You have a sociopath. A sociopath that has mutilated her face, its face. I'm definitely getting there's some masculine facial structure here. I'm kind of guessing that this is a dude that's presenting as a sociopath. uh, with lip filler, and this is kind of who's running the show at the a retard. A retard is what we have. Yep. And these are the people that are kind of running the show over at your mainstream media world. And I don't know what else to do with it. But like I said, you look at it, into vegan and ecosexual, they're just making shit up, right? And this is who is kind of in charge around the world. So we come over to this tab, uh, and we're not going to get to watch all of this, but this is Ted Cruz roasting this Biden nominee.
The rights of individuals are your political ideology.
I apply the law to the facts.
I asked a question, which matters more?
Well, my political ideology doesn't matter at all.
Okay, so I don't believe you. And I think this case demonstrates that you are willing to subjugate the rights of individuals to satisfy your political ideology. This case involves a male defendant who raped a 9-year-old boy. Was he guilty of that?
Yes, the petitioner pled guilty to that.
Okay, so he raped a 9-year-old boy. He also raped a 17-year-old girl. Was he guilty of that?
He pled guilty, the petitioner pled guilty to that crime as well.
So was he guilty?
I hope so, because she pled guilty to it.
He was a he when he did this.
That's correct.
1 year after being released again, he was convicted of having child pornography. Is that correct?
I'm unclear on exactly the time frame that you're at, but the petitioner was convicted of distributing child pornography.
Child pornography that was images of adults violently raping children.
Abhorrent conduct.
Okay.
For which there are real victims.
Yeah. So he goes on to show that this judge basically sentenced this dude, put this dude in a women's prison. And Cruz goes on to ask, right, do these women have the right to be free from being, basically, from having a 6'2" serial rapist locked up in a cage with them for the duration of their incarceration? Obviously, the answer to that question should be yes, right? In fact, the correct answer to that question is this judge should be executed for a violation of 242 of such egregious nature that the harm caused by the violation justifies the death penalty according to the letter of the law. And when I say that the harm caused justifies the death penalty, let's be very clear. 242 requires an explicit violation of a person's constitutional rights, of a person's civil liberties. If you take a big man, right, 6'2", that's a big dude. That's like, I mean, I'm a little skewed on that, but that's a pretty big dude. And you lock him up. He's a serial rapist. So yeah, he needs to be locked up at a minimum. If I had my druthers, he'd be executed for it. Excuse me. If I had my druthers, you rape a little boy or a little girl, you rape a child, that's automatic. Like, no, you leave the courtroom in a body bag. Automatic. But by locking this guy up with these women, explicitly what this judge has done is taken a specific and volitional action to violate the 8th Amendment protection against cruel and unusual punishment. She has taken the sentence of the women who have been incarcerated in that prison and Let's just go ahead for the sake of argument and assume that every single one of those women was convicted legitimately of a serious crime and they deserve to be there. Because as I'm sure you all know, as I'm sure everybody watching this show right now, and I mean literally every single person watching this show right now knows clearly the justice system never gets it wrong and overcharges for things that are not even crimes, right? So every woman in there deserves the sentence she has, but the sentence she has is a period of incarceration, of separation from society. This judge has just unilaterally upgraded every sentence of every woman in that prison from incarceration for a term to incarceration plus sexual terrorism. I can think of things that are worse. I can think of things that would be worse than being sexually abused for a long period of time while simultaneously being isolated from your friends and family. But let me be very clear. That's rat in the bag thinking. That's going down the road of enhanced interrogation of known terrorists level abuse to try and imagine something worse than that. This is one of Biden's appointees. This is somebody that Joe Biden wants to take a federal judicial nomination. That is, it's shocking. I mean, it's shocking. It's amazing. It's hard to overstate the madness of it. And then I want to close. I saved this one for last. I want to close on No, I've got a tab open for this. I thought I did. What the hell? Entire screen. Okay, there we go. AP News. Okay. We're going to take a look at this. Oh, new studio. Who dis? I'm missing some of my favorite little tricks, like switching this to reader view because I don't apparently have that installed. This is the Brave browser. So, excuse me. This comes from the AP News. Fact focus. Trump distorts use of deadly force language in FBI document for Mar-a-Lago search. Okay. Before I dig into this, Cameron points out they also brag about how many of them are DEI hires. And actually, you might even be referencing something that I saw earlier today that I talked about. I did not push a button to tell this to switch to another thing. I don't know what the hell just happened there. This got weird for a minute. I don't know what's. Oh. Okay. Like I said, guys, I just kind of got it put together as much as I could. Like, but Cameron points out they also brag about how many of them are DEI hires, and he may actually be referencing a tweet that I actually responded to earlier today. uh, Barack Obama tweeted out, "We hit a huge milestone today. Joe Biden got his 200th judicial appointment through." And Barack Obama made a point to point this out. And more than half of them are women and people of color. And I said, oh. So I replied to that, and I don't remember verbatim what I said, but roughly speaking, I said, only a racist and a sexist would be celebrating the fact that more than half of those judges are women and colored people. Only somebody who was interested in evading the selection of the best qualified nominees would be celebrating the fact that they began the selection process by excluding entire groups of nominees based exclusively on their sex and race. And let's be real, their political ideation and the likely political leaning of the individual. And it is not the case. We know it's not the case, right? Excuse me. It might be possible in the course of a normal hiring process to interview, say, 5,000 candidates, and of the 200 best qualified that you select for a job that doesn't have significant physical demands, then maybe the best qualified happen to be women or colored people. Maybe. It's possible, right? It's not extremely likely in this country because, like, for example, the judge position, there are a lot more men who are interested in seeking the legal profession. And there are a lot more men who happen to be white, just demographically, right? While it's less true today than it was, just 20 years ago, America is in fact still a majority white country. So the statistical likelihood that the majority of the appointees in a reasonable selection process would turn out to be the opposite of what the vast majority of initial candidates were is statistically aberrant. It's not likely. But we don't even need to do that math because Joe Biden made it very clear with the selection of Vice President Kamala Spit Roast Harris and the nomination of, I don't know what a woman is, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, that his initial criteria was from a group of people who are all women and all colored, we will choose the candidate that we want. They've made it explicit, right? The selection of Kamala Harris and the nomination of Ketanji Brown Jackson, both of those hiring maneuvers, because let's be clear, those are hiring maneuvers, were explicit violations of the Civil Rights Act. Those were explicit criminal actions. There's nothing wrong, technically, legally, with hiring either of those two women. Right? Forget about, your political opinion of the two women and the obvious incompetence of both of them. There's nothing technically wrong with either of those as hiring practices, except that in both cases, the hiring authority explicitly stated that he was hiring them based explicitly, if not exclusively, on their gender and their ethnicity, sex and color. because that was made explicit and announced explicitly, it's a violation of law. That is a crime that committed twice by one president, which I say more than rises to the if Donald Trump can be impeached twice for obvious nothing, then certainly Joe Biden should be on his ass over those crimes alone. Those are high crimes and misdemeanors. Because understand, part of what makes something a high crime is the level at which it affects the government, the world, the society, etc. It's very difficult to imagine. Let's see how does one describe this correctly? A political organization with explicit socialist overtones, which is ethno-supremacist at its core, and explicitly ethno-supremacist. I don't know if that reminds you of anything that you can think of from, say, 1940s. But that's all part of the lie that we've been told repeatedly, that communists and fascists are opposites. Y'all, it's wrapped up in paper and packed in a box, but I've got a copy of Merriam-Webster's dictionary from, I want to say 1903 or 1902. It's a 120-year-old dictionary. And what's interesting about a 120-year-old dictionary, and this is one of the many reasons I keep it around, quite distinctly from the fact that it was a gift from my beloved father. But the 100-year-old dictionary doesn't have the word fascist in it. There were no fascists 100 years ago, 120 years ago. Fascists are just Italian commies. It's just a kind of a spicy sausage flavored Marxism. It's Marxism plus the LD and a little paprika. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and button it up there. Y'all bear with me just a second, because I'm going to try. Yes, Steve, that was a Mussolini group title. But I'm going to try to get the outro to run. Nope, I don't think I have the outro in here, so I'll have to look at that. I'll just leave y'all with this one. Maybe not. It may take too long to upload. Yep, taking too long to upload. All right, guys. Well, I guess I'm just going to end the show then. Thanks for watching this morning. Tomorrow's Firearms Friday. I'll try to spend a little time getting set up a little more in here, but y'all, I got a lot of shit to do, so I can't make any promises today. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.